Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots in their Week 8 matchup, played October 29th, 2015. We're going to go over the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis. These two AFC East rivals went at it on Thursday Night Football. So starting off in the first quarter, a little less than 5 minutes into the game, Tom Brady hit Rob Gronkowski, and Gronkowski went 47 yards for the touchdown. Gostkowski added the extra point, and it was 7-0 Patriots. So that was the score after one quarter of play. Then in the second quarter, less than a minute into the second quarter, Tannehill, technically they call it a fumble, but really it was miscommunication between Tannehill and the center, Pouncey, as he snapped the ball right by him when Tannehill was looking to his left. The ball went flying by him. He had a confused look on his face. He jumped on the ball, and it was a safety, and it was 2 points for the Patriots as they now led 9-0. So then with about 3.5 minutes left before halftime, Gostkowski hit a 52-yard field goal, and that would make it 12-0 Patriots. And then 3 minutes later, with about a half a minute left in the second quarter, Tom Brady hit Dion Lewis. Lewis made some moves, and it was a 16-yard touchdown catch. Gostkowski added the extra point, and the Patriots went into the locker rooms at halftime up 19-0. So the Patriots 19 unanswered points in the first half. Then coming out of the locker rooms in halftime on the first possession of the second half, the Dolphins would drive 80 yards in 7 plays in about 3.5 minutes, and that would be capped off by a 1-yard touchdown run by Lamar Miller, which had been set up by a big play by the tight end Jordan Cameron. But Miller gets it in the end zone. Franks adds the extra point, and the Dolphins were on the scoreboard for the first time in this game, as it was now 19-7, as the Patriots still led by 12 points. So then, about midway through the third quarter, with about 6 minutes left in the quarter, Gostkowski hit a 36-yard field goal, and it was 22-7 Patriots. So now, going into the fourth quarter, about a minute and a half in, Brady would hit Julian Edelman for a 10-yard touchdown pass, as Edelman stretched out for the touchdown, and Gostkowski added the extra point, and it was 29-7 as the Patriots were up by 22. Then with about 7 minutes left in the game, Brady hit Edelman for another touchdown, this one a 16-yarder. Gostkowski added the extra point, and the Patriots were up 36-17 as they scored 17 straight points after laying up that touchdown. And so that would be the final score, as the Patriots just dominated this game, and they remain undefeated at 7-0, 4-0 at Foxborough. The Dolphins even up their record on the road. They're now 2-2 away from Miami. They're 3-4 on the season. So of course the Patriots remain in first place in the AFC East, and the Dolphins, they're going to be tied with Buffalo for third now with this loss, and the Jets are in second. And the Patriots just dominated this game. No turnovers. They did force a pair of turnovers for the Dolphins. And in this game, they did get a bunch of sacks as well, as they were putting the pressure on Tannehill. They said they forced a couple of interceptions, and then they got a bunch of sacks, as they ended up sacking Tannehill 5 times in this game. And actually at one point they had back-to-back sacks, which is a big possession right there for the Patriots. Of course, they were pretty dominant, starting off with 19 points in the first half, 19-0. And then after letting up that touchdown on the first possession of the second half, they scored 17 more points as they were able to blank them the rest of the way. It was a really strong defensive effort. They were shutting down the run. Lamar Miller only had 15 yards in this game. They only had 15 yards total of rushing offense. It's just total domination of a team that had been more physical since Campbell took over as head coach after firing Philbin But right here, the Patriots out-physicaled them. They started off, kind of being a little more physical, but Brady ended up throwing for over 350 yards as Brady was 26 for 38, 356 yards, 4 touchdowns for Tom Brady. Of course, one of those going to Gronkowski. That's 61 career touchdowns for Gronk. As he had 6 receptions, 113 yards in this game. Receiving, LeGarrette Blount had 17 carries for 72 yards, rushing as he was the leading rusher in the game. And Dion Lewis, 6 receptions for 93 yards and a touchdown. He also had 5 carries for 19 yards, as he ended up with 112 total yards on the game. Julian Edelman, 7 receptions for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Brandon LaFell, 4 receptions for 47 yards. Danny Amendola had 1 reception for 11 yards. And for the Dolphins, Tannehill, 28 for 44. He had 300 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Miller, 9 attempts, 9 carries, just 15 yards. He did have that 1-yard touchdown. That, of course, was set up by Jordan Cameron's 29-yard reception the play before that. He ended up with 2 catches for 34 yards, Jordan Cameron, the tight end from Miami. Jarvis Landry was their leading receiver with 6 receptions for 71 yards. Matthews had 7 receptions for 62 yards. Kenny Stills, 3 receptions for 58 yards. And Gray had 4 receptions for 50 yards. Miller also had 5 receptions for 19 yards to go along with his 15 yards rushing, as he had 34 total yards in the game. So he had a big game last week, over 200 total yards. But then this week he gets shut down as the Patriots really game planned for Lamar Miller. And they also took care of Tannehill. He had 300 yards, but they forced 2 picks. And they were able to turn those into points. And for the Patriots, Logan Ryan had the interception. Also, Harmon had an interception as well. And for the sacks, Chandler Jones had a pair. Dante Hightower had a sack, and McCourty had a sack, as well as Rob Ninkovich. And for the Dolphins, Oliver Vernon and Cameron Wake each had sacks. Cameron Wake did leave the game due to an Achilles injury. Hopefully it's not too bad. You never like to see anybody get injured. But it doesn't look too good, though, being that it's the Achilles. But in this game, we'll look at the team stats. For first downs, the Patriots had 24, the Dolphins 18. On third down, both teams struggled. 3 for 12 for New England, and 2 for 11 for Miami. New England 25%, Miami 18%. Both teams went for it on fourth down. The Patriots went for it once, and they made it. And the Dolphins went for it twice, making it once, just 50%. Total net yards, 437 for New England, 270 for Miami. And on the ground, the Patriots netted 95 yards, and the Dolphins netted just 15 rushing yards, which is pretty pathetic. From their perspective, but it's pretty excellent for the Patriots to shut them down like that. They're going to be going up to the top of the charts on the rushing defense. And the net passing yards, 342 for the Patriots. Brady was sacked twice. And for the Dolphins, 255 netted through the air, as Tannehill was sacked 5 times. And we look at the penalties, and there was 8 penalties against the Patriots for 69 yards, 7 penalties against the Dolphins for 40 yards. Of course, I thought that they could have been called for a couple more penalties, but the Patriots blew them out anyway. But the refs were actually kind of playing a little loose with the flags, I thought. So then we look at the red zone, 3 for 4 for the Patriots, 75%, 1 for 2 for the Dolphins, 50%. And we look at the time of possession, 32 minutes and 37 seconds for New England, 27 minutes and 23 seconds for Miami. So the Patriots just totally dominated this game. They're really shutting down Miami. They only allowed them that 1 score on the first possession of the second half. Of course, Miami was doing pretty good at first. They were hanging right with them. But then once the Patriots, they forced that first interception, that turned into 3 points. They got another touchdown there before halftime. and that made it 19. Of course, the Dolphins went for a field goal right before halftime. They didn't get it, but it was a pretty far attempt. It was a 63-yard attempt. It was pretty wide left. And the Dolphins came out there. They scored their only touchdown of the game. The Patriots responded, marching right down the field. They only got 3, but still to come right back with a score. And then the Dolphins again, the interception by Harmon is Tannehill makes the bad throw. Harmon makes, a really good play. And then the Patriots turn that into 7. So, they ended up with 10 points off of the 2 turnovers. And they really were, big momentum shifters. When Miami got that touchdown and the Patriots ended up responding with a field goal, it was the point where Miami, maybe if they had held them, would be back in it. And then when Miami was coming down and they end up with the interception and the Patriots turn that into a touchdown, now it's 29-7, and that pretty much sealed it. And then after forcing the 3 and out on the next possession for Miami, that's when they came up with the back-to-back sacks by Ninkovich and Hightower. And then the Patriots march down and they get that last touchdown, another one to Edelman there in the second half in the fourth quarter. And it's 36-7, and that's really all she wrote. That really put the exclamation point on the victory. A very dominant performance for the Patriots in New England against their AFC East rival. And so they're undefeated. The Patriots are the class of the NFL. They're riding high right now. And that's pretty much, you can check out our season prediction video. Things are going pretty good, I'd say, at least with what we predict for the Patriots. But thank you very much for listening. It is appreciated. But let me know what you think in the comments section below, whether you agree or disagree. Definitely interested in your opinion, as your opinion is very valuable to me. It's just as equal par with my own. But if you don't leave a comment to tell me your opinion, how will I know your opinion? So please share your opinion with me. I would appreciate that. But thank you very much for listening. I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week, and I hope you have a good weekend, and enjoy all the sports.